Alright, so today I'd like to make a video, like a retrospective of this project that I shared recently on Scratch, Zelda Tears of the Kingdom test. Just discussing some of the things that I learned from it, some of the good things and the bad things, and maybe could be used to help with the making of future games, like future platformer, or if give some other people some ideas. So yeah, I think this will be a really interesting video. I've got some notes here, and I'm just going to open up a unchanged remix just so in case I want to edit some things. So let's get started. So yeah, some good things and some bad things, some things I want to take out and stuff. So let's start with the art style. This art style I've been using, to highlight each thing. So this art style I've been using recently in my recent projects, like this blocky vector style. And I think for a couple reasons. One, I think it looks pretty. Two, it takes less time to make than like traditional or like previous art style. And also, the fewer vector points creates shorter loading times and smaller file size. So some really good benefits to it. But sometimes I feel like it can be less detail. It can look kind of undetailed. Like for example, if you go up here, like it looks okay, but it could use some more details. I think it maybe look too simple. So I'm trying to think of some tricks to like make it look more detailed, like putting these cracks in the walls, or putting these lines on the caves, but that doesn't look good. I don't think you don't even notice it because it's so dark. Putting these like trees, roots and stuff, and the holes in the caves look good. This piece of orange grass here looks good. I think the grass looks good. And then random trees everywhere. And then here, putting like an extra layer on top of the main layer. You can see here on the top of this mountain, and then underneath these spikes here. I think that can make it look really interesting and good. And putting these like cracks like throughout the background and the side here, I think make it look interesting, make this cave look a lot more interesting. So those are some good things about the art style. And then the day-night cycle, I think, was really good. I really wanted to try making a good-looking day-night cycle in this game, and I think it looks pretty good. So it's just 3 costumes, as we can see. Let's just go back, and let's change to Japanese this time. So you start coming out here in this beautiful day scene with the sun, and the lens flare also was great, and if it's blocked by the clouds then it goes away. So when the lens flare is out, the sun is out, everything's dark, it makes everything dark. But when it's hidden by like the wall, then everything goes back to normal color or normal brightness. So that looks great. And then the sunset is on top, but it's ghost effect to 100, and then it'll gradually go in front. And the sun just like moves around, rotates, and changes to a red version for the sunset, and then the moon for the night. So I think that looks great. And yeah, the clouds are moving, so it looks good. Some people might not notice it, so you should force some like good moments into the game, like when you're coming out of this tunnel. Oh, that was a bad transition, yeah, because the cave tries to make it darker. Sunset looks good, and everything is okay. Alright, so the gameplay, the climbing and ledge grabbing and gliding. I think these mechanics make the game a lot more fun. Like this type of 2D platformer, a lot more interesting. Because with the climbing, you can actually go up and down these places, which makes it a lot more open, feels good. And the ledge grabbing makes it more forgiving. Like this mechanic is in Breath of the Wild, where in a normal platformer, you would just stop right here. You'd have to jump on top of it. But with Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, you can just jump onto the ledge like that. And it feels really good. Jump onto the tree, you can even jump on this tree. It's nice. And then you can glide back down, which is great. Also, the sunset makes everything like tinted red. I think that looks good. Yeah, gliding is good. It's kind of abusable, the gliding, so I don't know, maybe that needs some more work, but I think it looks good. I think it's really fun. And one of the things that makes it really fun is makes it possible, is this new collision system. So it's not using like a collision sprite and if touching collision at all. It's just using these lines, and the player hitboxes a line, and just check the collision with like algebra slopes, like scans every line, and then if this line is like less than whatever the slope of this line is, then it'll be colliding and then shifts on top of it. So it's really fast, like collision system, don't need the block at all. But also, you can freely create these, you can freely move these lines, which is great. Really easy to make collision, unlike all the previous games I've made where it's just such a pain to make the collision. Here it's really easy. Also, you can jump on top and you can freely change the texture like that. Let's make it a snow. Now we can walk on the snow, which is good. And jump through platforms are really easy to make as well. So yeah, this is a great system, but I think it needs optimization because at the moment right now it's calculating like all 200 lines in the game, or 300 or more, which is really inefficient when there's only like 10 lines on the screen, right? So I think we need like a chunk system, like only scan like the within 1,000 blocks of ourselves, the lines. I think that would be really good if we could somehow do that. Alright, yeah. Oh, and we need slipping, like, if this line, like here, you can climb on it, right, but when you go down, you can just stand on it, and that looks really unnatural, so we need something to combat that. Alright, so, the map, let's just head over to the Temple of Time here. With creating and drawing this map, I've always been bad at making maps, like, it takes me forever to make it, and, yeah, this was not an exception. This map takes like forever to draw the whole entire thing. But I think what does help is drawing it in a notebook first, like giving yourself a reference first. Like, so then if you come up here, we can see I drew this general shape in my notebook, like the first cave, these islands, and this second cave shape, path up to the Temple of Time, and this. So it helps to have a reference. It's really good. But it does take a long time to draw because of just how Scratch is, how you have to go in the ground sprite and draw each one of these sections, which takes a long time. And then the system is good here. I can just place them wherever I need. You just add the new art at that position, and then in the update and constantly this like what is there's a forever loop always broadcasting this broadcast, and it will go through the entire list of all the grounds and then just stamp all of them, whichever ones are on screen. And same thing for the props, it just displays them on screen, but like with the grass, if you're touching it, it'll change its swirl effect, and if you cut it, then it'll display the particles and stuff, but it stamps it. So this is a good system, but I'm thinking, since it's so annoying to create the map, what if we just did having the one giant costume and display that and change the size? That might be better. I mean, but then again, it would probably cause lag and gets really pixelated, so that's not good either. So we should do that. Alright, so the blowing of the grass and the trees. Let's just fuse our sword real quick. I'll talk more about fuse later. But the the blowing of the grass and the trees also looks really good, I think. Like, here's a tree here, and let's just go back. So yeah, the grass blowing is great. It's using the new fisheye and whirl techniques that are popular now, and the trees also look good. The trees look great, especially when you touch them like this, they get funny like that, and the particles look good, so they look good. And the cutting of grass also is really fun. Like, I just opened this project so many times, just run around, climb everywhere, and just cutting grass is, excuse me, let's get rid of this stuff. Cutting grass is really fun. And also the mining of the rocks is really fun. Let's go over here. And, of course, yeah, so you can mine it. And as you can see, the hitbox went away, or went down when you did that. And, yeah, the mine, I think, looks great. The rocks and the particles look good. Hello to those. So, yeah, those are good. But that's, like, the only good use of the sword right now. Like, the sword otherwise is just useless. And one thing is the sword's not, like, fun to use. Like, you just run and then use it, and then you immediately stop moving, which is not very fluid. So I think in, like, Age of Calamity, you slightly move while moving the sword, so that at least makes it feel good, more fluid. But we need enemies. Like, enemies in this game need to be there, because that's the only that's like one of the only reasons the sword will be useful. But the problem is, it's really hard to make good enemies. Like, you're gonna have an enemy like running around here trying to chase you, but then he goes off screen and doesn't get the right collision, and then he might fall through the ground. It's just, I just see, and he can't catch up to you if you climb up and stuff. So I think it's gonna be really annoying to make good enemies. So then maybe I thought, oh, well, maybe we can make like flying enemies, like enemies that just fly around in the overlay and just attack you, and you gotta avoid them. Those could be good. Maybe those are what's gonna be good. Also, the climbing has like random glitches, like this, like that, and excuse me, can I get out? And like this, and also the really annoying thing is like this. If I just place a line like here, like that, maybe like this, and delete that one. I'm trying to recreate this, but yeah, you just get really weird positions like that, and just some other stuff, like how do I make an example of it now? Like, yeah, it's just weird, so those need to be fixed if I can. I'm not sure. Alright, now stamina is not useful in this. I need to take it out, because all you use it for is sprinting and gliding and the climbing, and you don't really need it for any of those things, because with gliding you're always moving down, and in the real game is 3D, but in this game it's 2D, so there's only one way to climb a mountain, so you don't really need the stamina for it, I think. So yeah, that can be taken out. Yeah, this is a thing to learn. You don't have to follow the game exactly if it makes it better to play in 2D. So yeah. Alright, so the animations I think look good. The animations, let's just go back to daytime. Yeah, the sword animation looks good. Running looks okay, but could be better. Jumping, there's two versions of the jumping, as you can see. Oh, it's lines. Come on. There's two jump animations, which is good. I think you should put more time into the things that they're going to be seeing all the time. Climbing looks okay. Yeah, it looks fine. But we need a turning animation, like turning from left to right. Also, while gliding, it would be nice to have a turning animation for that. And it's best if the character is like symmetrical. Like Link is not symmetrical because his arm is broken on one side. When you flip like that, it looks weird. And then you don't want to have to make a whole nother set of animations for that. Also the rotate, also if you don't need upgrades, like he's having this sword, like just a regular sword right now, but if you want to have the master sword, then you'd have to have a whole nother set of sword animations, so we need to figure out more about that, like what we're gonna do with that. And the sloping stuff, oh yeah, so when you're running down a slope like this, it looks good, like you tilting to the right, except when it's a really extreme slope. But you can't with the left, because the left, you can't rotate and flip left-right at the same time in Scratch. So, it's gonna look weird like that, but it's fine. It's just kind of annoying. Alright, so the controls are okay. I try to make them as standard and as easy as possible. You just move with WASD or arrow keys. Climbing is easy, you just hold the right button. Gliding is easy, you just press up. So, and the F is really easy to hit for your sword. So don't make the controls super difficult. But it would be best if we could, like, make it change controls, but that's just really annoying to implement. Alright, so the camera has some improvements from most Scratch games, like when you jump up, the camera doesn't follow you completely, which is how most games work, I think. Like, the camera mostly changes when you reach a new ground, like you see, let's see, so right now the camera doesn't change much, but when I reach a new collision, then the camera moves up. So that's a good thing. And also, when you're falling, I'm trying to make it show more of the ground below you, so that you can see where you're going, like falling. Oh, I need to use the glider, then I use it, so that's good. That's a good thing to implement. The tutorial signs are good. These are great. Like, they don't stop you. They're not annoying. They just show you what to press. They give you things to do, like cutting the grass and moving. Like, put the first one right here, so it's really easy to see. And they'll automatically figure out the climbing and the gliding. And the NPCs also are okay. Like, I'll talk more about the NPCs later, but, like, yeah, these speech bubbles are good. And just put some random NPCs around and stuff. Like, try to guide them, like, automatically while they don't notice it. Oh, there, glider. Yeah, good camera movement. So, like, here they say, oh, what was that red thing? Oh, it's a dog? How do I get there? Oh, these rocks? Well, how do I break these rocks? And then later they'll figure out that you need the fuse ability. So you go this way. And they will eventually find it. We go here. And then the fading in of the music is nice. Talk a little bit about that. And then you get over here and you see that he's saying, what on earth is up there? So then he guides you up to go up here. And then you see this. So yeah. Alright, while we're here fusing, yeah, it's possible. Like, you can have these costumes, like, go to the sword, but I think this is probably one of my least favorite mechanics of Tears of the Kingdom, the real game, and also this game, because it's so, like, useless. Like, it's not useless, well, for this game, it's useless, because all you use it for is the rocks, which doesn't feel like enough. But for the real game, it's not even that, it doesn't really make any sense. Like, here the Zonai, like, it looks ugly, like, first of all, and it doesn't make any sense. Like, how are these things just able to stick to your sword? And, like, the Zonai, the Zonai are supposed to be, like, these god people or something, these ancient magic people that can, like, create secret stones that are stronger than the Master Sword. And then one of their main abilities is, like, sticking bananas on your sword. Like, I don't like it at all. It doesn't make any sense. So, I don't really like the fuse mechanic. I'm probably going to take it out, because you can't even use it that much. I'd rather just have the elemental weapons if that were possible. But maybe this could be used, like I said earlier, like the Master Sword. If you could just stick on the Master Sword costume, then you wouldn't have to do all these animations. So that could be good. The objects, like, rolling around on the Temple of Time up here. Let's see, like, I think I left one up here. Where is it? Is a banana right there. I can't really see it. And these things, like, again, I added them to the game. I thought, oh yeah, they're cool, but they don't really have any purpose, right? So the sword doesn't have any purpose, the stamina doesn't have any purpose, and this fusing don't have any purpose, and these objects are also really lame and stuff. And also, they cause a lot of lag. Like, they have to do all the same collision stuff that Link does, but if you have 10 of them, that's, like, same problems times 10. So these are really inefficient, and they're probably not even useful. And same with the buildings. Like, if we do Ultra Hand, it's gonna have to be, like, really limited and stuff. So, like, buildings and stuff, because it's just so much lag. Speaking of lag, like, some other things we could do to avoid the lag are putting everything in custom blocks like this, but don't put, like, a custom block within a custom block. So, like, don't do this, because then that'll cause more lag. And then put a lot of broadcasts. And you can just do them in the exact order, like stamp the background and stamp the ground art, and then the player controls, and then display everything in the correct order, and that works. And that doesn't seem to cause a lot of lag. And stamps seem to be better than clones for lag. I'm not sure, but it seems that. Make sure you have as few sound effects as possible. Like, put them in folders is good. And music also. Don't have very much music, or get as small file sizes as you can. If you make your project in Turbo Warp, make sure you try running it in Scratch before you share it, because, yeah, like, the performance is the performance is slightly worse in Scratch, so you gotta make sure of that, just in case. You can find sound effects from like all sorts of projects. Oh yeah, I searched this project. You can search in Japanese as well. Or where was it? Yeah, Grass Sound. And I got my sound effects from this project. So yeah, and you can use any sound effects from my project if you want. Put just a couple sound effects is good. The fading in and out of the music. So how we do that is just create one clone for each music track. So a Great Sky Island clone and a Temple of Time clone. And one of them is just playing the music like this. Like no. You have two blocks, two When I Stars clone blocks. And one side you have just playing the music. And the other side is controlling the volume. And that doesn't cause any lag. So that's good. Oh yeah, I put a love favorite sign, because here's the thing, I feel like if you want to get a lot of loves and favorites, Scratch has like two groups. Like one is the group of just ordinary people, like first time scratchers. They just play the games on trending, and they like a lot of games, and they will click love and favorite. But sometimes you have to remind them to, because a lot of times you see people comment, I love this game, this is amazing, but they don't love and favorite. So you just put something in the game or the end of an animation or whatever, just reminding them, hey, thank you for watching, and then love, favorite, follow, and that's fine. But originally, I had this sign like way earlier, like I had it like right here somewhere, and I got there and I'm like, this is gonna make other people upset. Like there's other group in Scratch of like older scratchers, like better whoever, more serious, and they don't like seeing this. They don't like people telling them to love and favorite their game. So I think at this point they probably made their mind, and fine, I'll just put this sign here telling people to love and favorite, and I don't think it will make other people angry. So yeah, don't do humble bragging, but do just humble, like put it at the end to tell them love and favorite. Easter eggs, yeah, Easter egg in this case is just the NPCs, like the dogs. Here's a dog down here. I just put a couple dogs around the project and said in the description, can you find all the dogs? And that gave some people something to do. And also, like speedrun, you can find all the dogs as fast as possible. So that's something good to do. Yeah. And then the switching language automatically between Japanese and English, which is really important, I think is a good thing if you want to do that. You can get some Japanese people playing your game. Yeah, this is the script right here. So current hour only is for the local time zone, so it'll say exactly what your time is. So I'm in 1 p.m. so it's gonna say 1 p.m. But days since 2000 is synced throughout the whole world to UK time. So this is what you can use for like the fancy countdowns. It syncs everybody online. Those are great. You can do that. But if you use this script, you can tell which time zone they're in, and then if you set it to 9, then that means they're in Japan. So then I just set the language to Japanese automatically. So that's really useful to do. Yeah. Alright, so the last thing I want to talk about is that I just think you have to make stuff in games meaningful. Like, this is something I think Tears of the Kingdom, the real game, does really badly. Like, nothing in the game makes any sense. Like, the Zonai don't make any sense. Like, how are they just suddenly here, and they are stronger than the Master Sword with the secret stones? And how are the Sky Islands here? They're just floating, and the depths don't make any sense, and all the Sheikah technology disappeared, and Calamity Gan is totally gone, or like the Ganondorf and stuff. Like, nothing in the game makes any sense. Like, the story doesn't make any sense, and the gameplay doesn't make any sense. Like, how are we just able to stick on stuff to our sword? And, like, I feel like stuff in games has to have, like, a purpose and a meaning for it to be good. Like, even if no matter how much it's cool, like, it still should be meaningful. Like, for example, I was making the map and just started adding random stuff, like these swirl things in the rocks and this, like, weird design on this stairs. And I thought, like, yeah, it's cool, but it doesn't have any meaning. So then what I thought is, okay, if this is my game, I would put an NPC somewhere giving some like story, like saying, oh, the ancient people used to live on these islands and carve designs in the rocks and give them as presents to the gods, and now they are ruins here. And that story actually, that would make sense, right? That's something that makes sense and makes it more meaningful, right? Whereas just putting them in here for no reason, it makes them feel weird, I think. And same with this fusing of the sword. Like, it makes no sense other than just some rocks that you have to break. Like, it just doesn't feel right. And the Ultra Hand and the Sky Islands, like, they need to have a reason that these Sky Islands are up here, right? They don't make any sense, so that's why I think the Tears of the Kingdom has a really unsatisfying story and development. And stamina is useless, so why would I keep it in the game? Like, the fusing is useless, so why would I keep it in the game? You have to have useful things in the game. If something is useful, if something doesn't feel like it's useful, then take it out or improve it, make it more useful. All right, so yeah, that's really some strong point that I wanted to hit. All right, and the last thing, I guess, is the thumbnail. Just press THUMB for it to show up. Yeah, well, I just try to use red in all the thumbnails, like, of important games, because I think red really stands out. And then, yeah, use white and black text is good. And this green circle, like, I originally had more details in it, but then what I did is, also, more saturated colors on Link and the paraglider and the sun, just make everything pop out more. What I did is I would take a screenshot of the trending page and then just paste my thumbnail on it, like, in different places, and see how it did. Like, see how it looks, if it stands out or not. And that can really help. Also, you check Japanese as well. Yeah, Japanese trending is kind of easier to get on than English, so you get it on Japanese trending, and then that will help to get on English trending as well. And Japanese thumbnails always have, like, a lot of crazy stuff in them, like, because that's just what's in their culture. Like, they have really dense cities, and they're just able to process a lot of information really quickly. So you can add a lot of dense stuff in here. Like, you could put the Japanese, like, small in the corner, and they'll still be able to read it. But put the English stuff in the front, like, really big. And they can read that, like Zelda, whatever. So yeah, oh yeah, so yeah, that's basically all I want to talk about for this project. Conclusions, yeah, make the art simple art, but a little bit detailed. The climbing is a great mechanic for the 2D games. I really hope that more Scratch games try to make climbing, because it could be really great. But it needs to be, like, really easy for people to make in order for people to be able to use it. Might make, like, a test project for that, like a demo or something. Need to have, if you're going to have a sword in the game, it needs to be useful, like having enemies or satisfying to use, like, needs to be actually useful. Because otherwise, why would I even put the sword in the game, you know? The collision system is good, but needs optimization. I don't know what that was for. Yeah, remove the useless mechanics and make everything meaningful and fun and interesting and not useless. So yeah, that's it. Maybe some future things that I can add. All right, sounds great. Yeah, I think this was really interesting project to make, and I hope that it inspires other people to make more interesting mechanics and stuff in their games. All right, see you later.